Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
I'd like to call to order the November 13th, 2025 meeting of the Fitch-Rona EMS District EMS Commission. Roll call, please.
Roberts.
Here.
Lepper.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Lytle. Fusco. Lonsdorf. Paul. Lugenbull. Here. Anderson.
Here.
Dostalek. Anders.
Here.
So we got 4 of 8 filled seats. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Any public comment this evening?
I did not have any.
Then we'll move to review and approval of the meeting minutes from September 18th, 2025, which were provided as the board packet. Any discussion, questions about those minutes? Then we'll entertain a first.
I'll move to approve.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Chief's report.
So this was sent out in the packet with you, at the highlights, like I normally do with you over the course of the month. We did actually have another pretty busy month last month, up 4% from the previous year. So that brings us back up to about an 8% increase targeted over last year. Other couple of things I'll point out, did add a couple more, I think it was about 3 more mutual aids required into the district last month. So as of this point, already this year, we have exceeded the number of times that we've required mutual aid because we've been out of ambulances. That probably corresponds directly with, if you see the number of times we had all of our trucks out on calls at the same time, was 31 times where all 3 trucks were out. So that's another pretty big number. We had a pretty busy month last month, and it's only the 15th or 13th today, and we're kind of already on target again this month of hitting some big numbers. You see the community events there. We did actually quite a few of them last month, so a huge thank you to those crews who helped with that, keep our community supported. There's the rest of the statistics you'll see there, the same reasons for dispatch. Oddly, we've been pointing this out with our crews as well. Our Verona ambulance last month actually exceeded, was the busiest station of our 3 ambulances last month. So the busiest one was in Verona. Entirely possible that corresponds as well with the kind of the height of, I don't want to say the height, but the beginning of cold, flu, and pneumonia season there with our senior housing in both municipalities. So seemed to have hit the Verona senior housing probably much harder than it did up in the city of Fitchburg. So there's our aging. You'll see things are a little bit different if you compare month to month. Usually you see that 0 to 30 days is up over $1 million. As I kept you informed with last month, due to the government shutdown, that actually did affect Medicare billing. Without getting too deep in the weeds there, our billing company did keep us informed pretty, at least weekly updates on what was going on. There's kind of a base rate Medicare reimbursement for Medicare patients, but based on geography, there's actually what they call modifiers that are put on that are supplemental. So essentially the challenge is, though they could have billed Medicare and at least started that process, those modifiers that above and beyond that base rate is part of the federal budget. So they could have attempted to bill them, attempted to get them paid, and then would have actually had to go back and rebuild them if those modifiers would have passed, or if those modifiers wouldn't have passed and the government would have paid it with them, we would have actually had to go back and refund them. So essentially our billing did not bill any of our Medicare patients for about 3 weeks. And then that recently, they did start billing them about a week ago before the government opened back up today. So that's why you'll see actually the decrease in receivables, because our aging reports start not the date of the call, but the date the calls are billed. So you wouldn't, next month we'll probably see a bigger spike then in those calls. As far as our cash on hand, we're sitting fine here where we normally are towards the end of the year. Other decreases are just expenditures for items we bought with our FAP funds. And then Michelle and I did meet last week, and we'll meet again with our WISC, the Wisconsin Investment Company that we've got our post-retirement healthcare funds with, and as well as the fund balance that we moved in there from earlier this spring, just to move it out into another investment that seems to be providing a little bit of a better return. We met with them last week to kind of look at this, and we'll meet again as I mentioned, next week to look at that and move some funds around within the accounts that we have available there to look at better interest rates. We did get a donation from a patient last month who just mailed us a check. Love the milestones. Jeff is actually this Saturday, the 15th, will be Jeff's 10th year with Fitch-Rona, and then Eric Anderson, who's one of our LTs, this will be his 4th year with us. Really only updates I had, so that 6th ambulance we bought, or we got the beginning of this year, it's been kind of a slow process of waiting for some additional funding to come in and purchase that durable goods, but way it's tracked, by the end of this year, we will actually have all of the durable and disposable goods in that truck, so we will have 6 fully stocked ambulances, which will be really nice, and that's kind of what the plan was, to prep it for January when we start that peak time truck, and we have those 2 days a week where we have 4 trucks in service. That still gives us 2 backup trucks for the just in case, which I think as of yesterday we were down. We had the heat. Yeah, we had the heat go out in one of the trucks, which kind of needed, and then we had just a quick and easy oil leak we had to get changed. So we were down 2 trucks as of yesterday. So ideally we need those 6 trucks to keep everybody in service. And I think they were just so busy running calls last month, there wasn't a ton of shout outs, but kudos to our crews for just continuing to do what they do. The other things I will share with just the chief's report, just to update, keep you updated on things. Contract negotiations, they're still ongoing. That's what I got. Essentially, they're still ongoing. We were presented with the district was presented with a counter proposal early in this week, and we'll continue to work with the representatives from the commission. Should be able to present a counter proposal back to them probably by tomorrow or Monday. So
Is there a due date for that?
Nope. We go back and forth until we agree on something or goes to arbitration. So, nope. I am optimistic we'll have something for December. And I think I shared that in the email. That's kind of why I left the December meeting, at least on the calendar, for everybody to keep, in hopes that we will have a contract to sign.
Seems later this year.
I feel like we didn't get it started till a little bit later, but it's been a while. It's been a lot of back and forth. I feel like back and forth more than usual, but it continues to be movement on it. Other update I have, if anyone has watched the news, or I think more of social media than the news, so Belleville EMS has worked out a contract to provide EMS services to the village of New Glarus. New Glarus, yes. In the big picture, that should not affect us. Chief Backus from Belleville has been very open and kind of, looking for assistance and making sure that he is communicating well and been doing a phenomenal job. I think one of the challenges that will be with that is, like currently, I mean, there are parts of Belleville that are in other counties, but, we are Belleville's closest to ALS, Advanced Care Unit. The intent is to create all of their response area, which now will include the village of New Glarus, as well as, I think, part of a couple of those townships. So when we get auto dispatched as far as our closest paramedic unit, their dividing line is New Glarus. So it's entirely possible we'll be picking up a few more calls that would have been New Glarus as I don't know that they were staffing paramedic level full-time. I know they had a handful of paramedics, but it's entirely possible our call volume will tick up a little bit to support that ALS side of things. Their intent is to have 2 ambulances staffing their district. So it shouldn't be that we're running down there for mutual aid calls. It should truly just be ALS stuff. But in case anybody's been watching the news, I wanted to make sure that you were aware that I am aware of what's going on. And Chief Backus has been very open about what's going on their side of things. Right, had that casual conversation, right, more than happy to help out our neighbors. If it starts creeping up there where it's a little more than probably a comfort level, we'll absolutely continue to have more conversations.
Belleville taking that over, will they have one rig down in the Glarus area, or will they both be out of Belleville?
Their intent is to put 1 ambulance in the New Glarus fire station,
Okay.
and then keep 1 in Belleville. And then they acquired a 3rd used ambulance, and they're in the process of, he believes they'll have that fully stocked by the end of the year as well. So they'll still have their backup ambulance in Belleville. So we shouldn't see it shouldn't really affect us, but I feel it's the nature of what we do. I think it's going to trickle over a little bit. But we'll see.
Are they advanced service or basic?
Belleville is an AEMT service. They're advanced. So those are the other notes I have for my chief's report, unless anybody has questions for me.
Just one more about Belleville. Do they bring people to Madison hospitals, or is there Monroe probably is the other?
So the dividing line is New Glarus. They actually did figure it out, and part of that is whatever the highway. If somebody knows which one it is better than I do, whatever the highway runs divides New Glarus in half. It is splitting the difference between going to Monroe and actually coming up to Madison. As well as they figured that's out, that's the dividing line. If they need a paramedic ambulance, anything north of that, we are closer. I should say Fitch-Rona is closer. Our other 2 Fitchburg units are not closer. Yeah. And then south of that, to get a paramedic ambulance out of Monroe is actually closer.
Yeah.
So I would say we go to Monroe 2 or 3 times a year, if that. And largely we end up down in Exeter. I'm trying to think what the other township is that's down there. But so those some pretty big. There are usually some pretty significant accidents that happen on that south side of New Glarus. That it truly based on the stability of the patient, it is actually closer to take them to Monroe than it is to come up here. Most of the time, we encourage them to come this way. That way, we get to get home. But also just getting them to the best care possible. So yeah, any other questions I can entertain?
No other questions. We'll move on to the next agenda item. Review and approval of the accounts payable checks authorized by Chief Anderson. Any questions on those checks? Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2025-8, approval of GASB 54.
Usual thing we approve every month for accounting purposes. Those first 2 numbers, the non-expendable inventory and those prepaid expenses, those are fixed by our accountants in the beginning of the year. And then the second 2, that's that sick leave liability, that's that investment account. So you'll see that change every month, $472,256.76. And then probably for the first time in 3 years, we're starting to see that contract negotiations fund start to go down. So if you remember, we actually have budgeted a smaller amount every year to put into that fund. And then however many years we have contract negotiations, those funds specifically come out of there. That fund is held at, I want to say $26,000 is the ultimate goal. Should things need to go to arbitration, that funds go very quickly. Arbitration is $20-ish thousand. So depending on where we need to go, that's what those funds are used for, so that doesn't eat into budget funds unanticipated. So,
Does the union pay the 20,000 too?
sure. I don't know.
They have their own
My guess is
fund people.
they have their own funding source, but that's what it ends up costing us.
Any questions for the chief? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and possible action on resolution 2025-9, expenditure of 2023 certified public expenditure, CPE funds.
So this is the funds I've been kind of sharing with you over the last couple of months. In the nutshell of it, 2021, the state realized that patients who have Medicaid, or the Medicaid reimbursement for ambulance services is significantly not what it requires to support an ambulance service. So in 2021, they approved this called Certified Public Expenditure Program. In 2022, they hired a consulting group to come in and set it up and manage it. Now in 2025, they're finally up and ready to go, and they went back retroactively to 2023 and 2024. So I've been working on that actually since, I want to say, March, of putting these reports in, finding data, and submitting that information to the state, or actually goes to this consulting group. They review it, they ask lots of questions, they determine what that amount is, and then they submit that reimbursement based on a really complicated formula and reporting of data, and we get additional funds. So we actually did receive our 2023 Medicaid reimbursement through this program, where 2024 is supposed to be coming in November, though that it has been submitted, it has been reviewed. I have not seen any updates on when we're supposed to receive those checks. Though it's a state-funded program, I think the federal government shutdown has delayed that also a little bit. It just seems to be kind of correlating. So for our 2023 Medicaid reimbursement, so essentially this is run revenue that would have come in 2023. So we received for a calendar year 2023 of $46,660.30 that would have been run revenue in 2023. So really that goes into our excess run revenue, but that is unanticipated run income for this year. So there's two options. We can actually just put that into that general fund, and it's going to get grabbed up next spring during the audit as an unassigned fund balance over our 35%. I believe a better use of that, since it was unanticipated income that we do now have, as I mentioned, stocking that 6th ambulance, is to use these funds to help buy the durable goods to go in that 6th ambulance. So what I requested, at least to put in the resolution here, is another cardiac monitor currently $40,309.08. We have 6 of them. We currently have 6 of them, 3 for the frontline ambulances, and then this would actually put 1 in every ambulance. Currently, we have them in our response vehicles as well. We just pulled them out of the backup ambulances. What this would do would give us a 7th cardiac monitor. That would actually put 1 in every ambulance and leave us 1 in one of our response cars that we can take to special events or when we respond. And the other part of the second one of that is to purchase an ultrasound unit. Right, we currently have 5 of them. We don't have a 6th one for that 6th ambulance, and that would be the remaining $6,351.22. That is actually for the ultrasound unit. In addition, it needs a Pelican case, a tablet, the software, and all the kind of things that go with it to make it its own little kit. But those 2 things we could purchase for that $46,000. So I think that's a better use of that fund than actually just to put it in the unassigned fund balance and wait till next.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wait till next spring and see what it is and reallocate that. So I guess I would ask if anybody has any questions.
It's amazing to me that the price of those 2 items came out to exactly the amount we received?
They didn't.
Oh, okay.
That is the exact amount of the cardiac monitor. That is the exact amount. The other one, the ultrasound unit was like 4,000 something. The case was like 300 something. The tablet was like 600 something. So I honestly just threw the rest of the balance in there because then it starts to be weird. Like, oh yeah, that's right. I got to buy a charging
gel
cable.
or something.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I could truly figure it out, and then there'd be like $600.07. But this way, it covers me when, like, oh yeah, I got to buy a case for the tablet as well. That's $38. This will just cover all those purchases.
Well done.
And that's what number 3 tells you, that you have the authority to do that.
Yes.
I move we approve resolution 2025-9.
I agree, I second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
As mentioned, I'm anticipating.
that's exciting.
Yeah, this is really, I mean, again, unanticipated funds I will always take, and this way it actually really helps move forward what we normally would have to be putting on a delay. I'm hoping, again, we get the 2024, we were scheduled to get the 2024 reimbursements in November. The last 2 big items that would go into that ambulance is another Lucas device, which is the automatic CPR device. That runs, I want to say $25,000. And then a ventilator, which is roughly about $12,000. So the 2 of those things would actually also be able to fit. I'll exact price those out for you. But
It's amazing.
yeah, it was meant to be. My plan is if we get those funds next month to bring that resolution back to you as well, and probably throw that. We should be able to get the 5 big things. The IV pump would be the last one as well to use out of those funds. So with that, you'll also see, I don't usually put it up here, but you did get emailed the current in-house budget process and the expenditures on there. So this is going to be one of those weird things. You're going to see the medical equipment line be at 500% over what we would normally do because it'll come out of that line item. So it's going to look like it's over. It is over, right? But there's actually funding to put back in there. So thank you. It's really appreciated. It's really nice to get that. I mean, that ambulance will be off the ground and it'll be up and running.
Nice to have the tools that they need to do their job as well and do it well.
Absolutely. I am all about, right, when we have to switch ambulances because the heat goes out in one and we got to start moving equipment. It just, to me, sets us up for something to fail when we
Wear and tear.
forget to move something over and now all of a sudden I don't have one of the tools I need because I forgot to pull it out of one ambulance and put it into another ambulance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've prepped it over the course of the year to put radios, extra phone, stuff in there. So it should truly be up and running with 6 fully stocked ambulances. So, thank you.
Next agenda, item, discussion and possible action on resolution 2025-10, intergovernmental agreement to provide EMS support to the Dane County Alliant Energy Center.
So I emailed this out to you as well. I can put it up on the screen. This is the same intergovernmental agreement we've had with the Alliant Energy Center to help them out for, since we started doing it in 2021.
So no changes.
The only thing I updated is the fee, their fee rate. So again, I mentioned we're still in contract negotiations, but I took, historically our rate was $140. I increased it by 3%, which is what I guess, we base it on a single medic's hourly wage. I think there was just $65, added 3% to that, which is the current discussions in the contract. We double that because we send crews of 2, so it raised it to $144. So that is the only thing that has changed in the agreement. I historically have not brought this agreement to the commission before because I usually just sign it as operationally things. Figured it's an intergovernmental agreement, I probably should bring it to this body. So this is the first year I tell you we're doing it, I just usually sign it myself, but.
This is that time when Madison doesn't cover the Alliant Energy Center.
So this is a very much a collaborative effort with us. We tend, Usually if they want an ambulance on site, then we will go with an ambulance into our crews. If they just want somebody there providing first aid, usually they'll call Madison there to staff it. And then we just help each other out at large events like Midwest Horse Fair, World Dairy Expo. When we have 4 to 6 people out there, we work together to do that. I certainly don't have 6 people to send. It is rare that Madison has 6 people to send, so we actually will send a crew of each. The really large concerts, I think we sent 8 people one year. We sent 4 from here and 4 from them. So it's collaborative. The Alliant Energy Center is truly the one who essentially picks the service. We had some discussions earlier today about some fee schedules that I think we got to work through, but at least for us, this is cost recovery. The decision will proceed with this for this year as we kind of work through to see what Madison is and whether we want to match prices or do some different options in cost.
Originally, paramedics had overtime rate.
So that is how we determine our special event rate is the cost of my highest paid paramedic, because I don't ever get to predict who's going to go. We want to make sure we have 100% cost recovery. So we take our highest paramedic plus what it costs them for benefit. So it's overtime rate, so their highest wage plus at time and a half, plus what it would cost for workers' comp, WRS, I think are the 2 things we build in there. And I think that's it. So whatever, yeah, so close enough to that. So it's whatever that time and a half rate is plus almost 15% is 100% of the cost. And that's just their hourly rate. We don't always have the highest paid medic going there. Sometimes if we have a part-timer going there, right, who's not making nearly that cost. However, when we send them there, even if it's for a 2-hour gig, they have to come to work, pick up an ambulance, drive there, come back, and then drive back. So even though we're paying, I might not have my highest paid medic there for 2 hours, I have to pay my medic the half hour before and the half hour afterward. So it kind of all comes out, if you look at the big picture, we usually end up a little bit ahead, but in the big picture, it's kind of a wash because we don't charge them for the fuel. It charges me to go there, the Band-Aids, the hour and a half before, hour and a half afterward. So that's where that rate comes from. But I think we'll continue to discuss that over this next year.
It is really good for our staff as well as obviously the department. I think a lot of staff, because of the availability of picking up these extra hours, they're not looking for a part-time job somewhere else. A lot of these events can be something new, something fresh, something fun, depending on what the event is. And I think that brings a huge value to our agency. So, yeah, I think.
Keeps them here.
It does.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What if there's something happens at the event, a heart attack or a shooting, something where you guys have to transport somebody? Do you have another ambulance come and cover then, or?
So yes, how it is set up is we will provide that initial care, and as soon as we've determined that a transport is needed, they reach out to the 911 center and have them dispatch an ambulance.
Oh, okay. So you don't leave the site or something?
No, now there on the off chance it was I would say even if it was a cardiac arrest, right? The option is to throw them in an ambulance, not throw them in there, to take care of them, put them in the ambulance, and they could leave with them.
Yeah.
However, most of the time, I want to say most of the time, right? All of the time, it's by the time they get that assessment and even start that care and initialize patient treatment, it's in the city of Madison. There's a city of Madison truck there.
Yeah.
So they will take them and transport them. I can't say maybe once we have transported a patient out of there. Most of the time they'll call in for a neighboring rig, which is the city of Madison.
Any other questions? A motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
I,
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Next one, next agenda, discussion possible action on resolution 2025-11, data hosting and sharing agreement with the University of Wisconsin Board of Regents.
So I'll give you this one in a nutshell as well. I emailed this 17-page agreement to you. The one to really look at was the one that was the cover sheet, and I do have it up on the screen here. I'm not going to read that whole thing. Here's the background. Largely, this is being led by Dr. Mike Spigner, who's one of the UW docs. He's a data geek. So he has actually even set up for us a customized, anytime we do advanced airways, there's a specific database that we fill out for him to do data. So he's always looking at research kind of stuff, and the current system we use based in the county, based in the state, it's called Image Trend. It keeps points of data in there, even based on that national, the NEMSIS, which is a national database of data points. It's not easily searchable, diggable, to get the kind of data that he's truly looking to get out of there. So he's always been kind of figuring how do we, we're a busy enough county, all the agencies that work here, how do we get our data and provide useful information out of it? So he actually did a project, or has approached so that and this is actually, the contract, if you look at it, is actually through the university. It's not actually even through the university hospital or the foundation. It's through the region, as it said in there. Technically, it's right through the Board of Regents at UW-Madison. So what he's looking for is the UW-Madison, the university system, would actually be able to host a database for EMS in the county, potentially to grow even bigger. There is nothing we would have to do. We would still fill out run reports as we normally would, and behind the scenes it already happens that our run reports, once we enter them, they go to the county. They are appropriately routed to our one direction to the billing company. They are routed in one direction to the big state database of EMS providers. This would actually just create a third pathway that would actually send them to the university itself. His digging in there, and he explained all this to me over like half an hour. I'm like, right, deer in the headlights. But I trust he knows what, right? The reason they set it up at the university is one, it's a secure. The University of Madison already does research, right? So they are already very familiar with how to securely store data points, allow that access to their looking at review boards and everything that comes along with that. So it would here, it's unsafe, it would be secure and follow essentially, right, university research rules. No cost to us. Any future costs that even may occur to be charged by the university would essentially be absorbed by any outside entity who wanted to access that data. Right, they have a hospital system there, so the university system, again, very familiar with de-identifying HIPAA compliant information. So as again, you're looking at that the list he wrote there, right? There's people bring up the risks of information, and you know it is partnering with a system that knows how to de-identify and maintain secure data. We would just be part of.
So Pat,
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. So what are we going to do with this information? Are they able to drill down to say, hey, you've had, does it capture successful, unsuccessful, let's say in particular intubations, or what are we looking for here to improve?
So right now, he is just looking at setting up a data system that you could get better research out of it.
But what are we doing with that information? I mean, what's that information going to tell us?
The key is the last sentence of this agreement. Your agency and your community will realize direct benefit by participating as the scope and effectiveness of your quality management program will be improved.
That doesn't tell me how.
No, that doesn't mean anything.
What kind?
So it's not even very specifically to benefit Fitch-Rona. We are just contributing data to an EMS database.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't know that you could even be able to say, well, this was a Fitch-Rona call, right? Your example being airway. We already do success rates with airways, and how many questions are in that? It's what did you?
The CQI module as well as the advanced airway registry. I mean that 20
Yeah,
plus.
I mean, ideally he would be able to, just by us providing the data in there, he would be able to say, medics with 2 years of experience on a service that runs 5,000 calls, has a 90% success first time pass intubation rate with an endotracheal tube, and it's 100% confirmation, where a 10-year paramedic on a service that only runs 800 calls as a first time pass, like that is what that information is not readily available currently. This would take our current data set and make it a much bigger data set, and even the current EMS reporting system we have, it's all CSV files, right? So it's trying to do data research in an Excel spreadsheet, which can be done, but it's not easily manipulated. Whereas this truly, I mean, he explained data to me, and like, I knew that in college at one point in my life.
Basically, for their research and study of whatever topic that might be, whether it's stroke, heart.
Yep. Yeah. It's essentially allowing us to put our information in a large database that could be much easierly researched than our current system.
Yeah. I'm for it.
At no cost.
I don't care. I've been working 44 years with data and quality improvement in practice, and I just was wondering what we can do with this information.
We could do lots with it, but right now, essentially what it is taking our data and making it much more.
He's starting a repository.
Yep. Yeah, and creating a system that currently does not exist, sort of, here's an Excel spreadsheet with a bunch of data in it, I mean, again, he started using data words. I'm like, oh, I don't understand, right? You can do more than sort by letters and numbers.
I think they're probably also doing this with Middleton and Sun Prairie and.
I would imagine.
Yeah, so they're casting a really wide net. They're hoping to get as many agencies on board with this as possible. As you can imagine with everything else, I think he's got a grant to do this. In order to get it like up and running and off the ground, he essentially needed at least one agency to sign on before January 1st to get the funding. Said, I believe I can help you with that. So
first.
We will be the first. Yeah.
There's a lot of studies that are done on like Medicare data. Like every time anybody with Medicare has to file a bill, and they know what the billing is for, and they can even find outcomes and whether they ended up in the hospital after that and all that kind of stuff. And so research is done on that, like in a nationwide level. And so you can get certain trends and all sorts of information that way. But it never really helps any individual Medicare recipient or even any community that much. It's more of just adding to the general information about it.
We have SSM, how many years ago did ESO, I'm guessing, so SSM years ago, it's called an HDE, a Health Data Exchange System. So a handful of years ago, we were actually able to link our EMS reports with patients' hospital reports. So as you talked about outcomes, our crews could actually go in and look at outcomes. Meritor just went online last month, and UW is just taking a little bit longer, but that can tie into this database as well, as exactly what you said. This would allow data or research people to actually look at EMS reports and compare them to hospital reports and look at outcomes. Is what we're doing making a difference in the long run?
Yeah, if you get to somebody in less than 10 minutes, they're more likely to survive than if you get to them in 12 minutes or 15.
And right now that data is super, super clunky to try to put together.
So this would help if you could.
This would make research of EMS thousands of times.
Is that you, Dave?
Yeah, I see.
Oh, okay, I can't see it.
The camera didn't pick up your voice, so she probably didn't hear anything.
I don't know what you're looking at.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
All right, Sue second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Next agenda item is other business is allowed by law. Is there any other business?
Only thing I would have is just keep the save the date for a December commission meeting. I will continue to keep you informed if we have a contract to sign.
Okay.
The only other things I would anticipate would be a second resolution for expenditure of the CPE funds for 2024 to purchase those. And I think the last one would be as I am pushing towards getting that peak time ambulance staffing in place. It's just been a bit of a process with the union because we need to update a couple of policies and job descriptions and things that go along with that to just clean that up. But I still believe we'll be running up and running with that peak time ambulance in January on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But there might have to be a handful of things, maybe to meet in December. Save the date. I'll let you know.
So I have a question. Is Sue the only one that's online?
Jake is also online.
Okay. Just gonna say, we got a pretty good representation of the town of Verona here, and you guys are gonna miss us when we're gone.
We will miss you. Have you rock, scissors, papered about who's going to be the one to get the lucky one to get to stay?
So if we don't have a December meeting, doesn't that start on January?
It will start in January. So thank you. If we don't see
This
you,
may be our last meeting, you know.
Jake may be in Alder by then, so we'll see. Yeah, thank you for all your work.
Well, this is my last meeting. I've enjoyed being on the commission.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, very much.
So what will be the makeup then? 1 from town of Verona?
1 from the town of Verona, 2 from the city of Verona, and 4 from the city of Fitchburg.
Okay.
Where are they? Oh, Fitchburg.
They are aware. I am waiting.
They're busy.
Yes.
And one's next.
Jake.
You're Fitchburg. Yeah, okay.
Jake and JR.
All right, never mind.
And we don't have that Alder seat filled.
I love Fitchburg, yeah. I love you guys.
And thank you, Scott, who came out to
that's
do a
right.
little on-scene filming for us tonight.
Thank you.
So
Three people in Fitchburg watching us.
very much appreciated.
All right, no other business?
We're ready for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
The 2 people from the town,
Second.
your last opportunity.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.